Well, I started playing with my windshield wiper motor. I got a new switch and I got it where it's working good, but I can't get the wiper goes into this window here, and I couldn't get to the back of it, put a clip on, and I fooled around with this and I discovered that the whole window folds down, and the clamp that holds the whole thing down, which is this thing right here, it holds this pad on here, and I can get to this hole to put the clip on. But this thing is kind of rusted up. It does go down and hit the stops on the hood, which is good. I couldn't figure out what that was, but it's pretty chewed up right here. So this has got to be fixed. And apparently the defroster blows up through this hole into the windshield frame, and that's how the defroster works. There's some little vents right in here, so that's how the defroster works. So I gotta patch this up, or all my hot air just do nothing, and this has got to be straightened out somehow. But anyway, I'm gonna take this pad off of here and try to get my wiper motor in first and move on from there. Well, I got the motor on, and I was able to get the, can't really see it here, almost, but I got the arm on the motor, and the stop is pretty good. I got these wiper blades, and they really won't fit the holder, but I got the rubber out and was able to put it in the old wipers, so at least it won't scratch up my window. And I've got a washer there, and I couldn't figure what this extra wire was, and it turns out that I can push this switch in. So this wire is not going to anything, is actually a pump switch. So have to get me a washer pump, take that off, clean it up, make sure the squirter works. It looks like this has got a flat place on it, so I think I can take this windshield off. It's a two-guy job. Maybe I can hook something up there to the top and use a ratchet strap or something and get this thing off. It'll be a lot easier to try to patch up this rust. It's got quite a bit of it, and I need to fix that. Anyway, I'm gonna put a little tape on the other wiper and run some power to this and see what I got. Well, I finally got this resolved. What I did is cut me a couple 3-inch plates, and I roughed them up real good. This is not good. I did them with a cut-off tool on the back, and I cleaned up this whole frame here where it was all rusted out, and put those plates in there with about 1/8 of an inch of Bondo, squished them in, and of course that Bondo will go through all of those rust holes and be like 100 rivets or something, so that ain't coming out. It'll probably rust out eventually, but anyway, we got this pretty much sealed. Now I can probably put some more Bondo in there and clamp this down. Hopefully that'll solve that. This lip's got to go over this dash, so I got to get up under there and tighten up those bolts. They're rusted, so they're going to be hard to do, but I'm not gonna try to put new ones in or anything. I'm just gonna bolt it up good and tight. If I can, get a little ratchet up in there, and I'll just do the same trick I did over there. I'll paint this. I'll use the gloss on it. Got me a new fuel gauge. This one here was it was coming up to about halfway between 1/4 and 1/2 a tank as empty, and it went backwards. This one's about the same. It looks like it went up to about 3/4 of a tank. I don't know if it's going to go backwards or what's going to happen with that. I guess when I had the tank out, I could have turned the sending unit around. I don't know. I didn't. So I'll hook up that gauge. It looks a lot better. It looks like it's got more of a range. And I'm not going to pull the tank to fool around with it. If it don't work at all, I don't know. Anyway, I got about 2 gallons in it right now, so wherever that's pointed, it shows me 2 gallons. And you got a temperature gauge coming, but I can get this dash tightened up here. I can get to it a little better, and looks like I might be able to reach in here with a wrench and get 2 of them at least. And these 2 on the bottom I can get, and I can probably reach that top one over there on the left. So anyway, I'm going to clean this dash up, get all the bolts tight in it, painted, and then I'll go over to the other side of this windshield. I got a pretty bad rust out over there. I'll fix that. I don't know what the defroster vent is. This is what I found in my mess. It was kind of taped up, but it's pretty chewed up. I'll see if this is going to fit up in there. I could redo this with fiberglass, but a new one's only like 30-40 bucks. So if I can figure out this is the right shape, I'll order a second-hand one And hopefully this will put some foam rubber on that, and this will force that window full of hot air. Hopefully the defroster will kind of work. Well, here's the rust spot on this side. I got it kind of cleaned up. I didn't realize I didn't show you how bad that was rusted before. I worked on it for a whole day. Didn't shoot any video. So anyway, I got a plate cut here. It's roughed up good. I got some Bondo mixed up. Got a couple clamps. And I'm just gonna put a thin layer on here, stick it on, and we'll see how it works, and then I'll work on that lip from the other side. Well, I just laid it there, got the bottom edge good, straight across, covers up my rust hole. Got a couple clamps on it, and got most of the body or the Bondo cleaned up. So I think that'll be good, and I'll let that harden up good, and then I'll open it up and try to adjust this bottom lip here. I know I got a big lump of Bondo hanging out there. I'll sand that off before it gets too hard. I just rough trimmed this up. Get the heavy Bondo off. Got a couple rust holes in it. And there's quite a few right here in the middle. So I'll let this dry good, and I'll hit this again tomorrow with a grinder, and I'll just fill that up with Bondo. And I'm going to clean up the rust here. I may put something in it, but I think I'm just going to try to use windshield sealer and go around this all front, inside and outside. Just try to seal that window up so it's not putting a lot of water down in here. But I think this is gonna work. Might have to get some rubber plugs for this so the defroster will work. I don't even know why I'm worrying about it so much. I just, you know, I'm trying to get at least 10 grand out of it, which is a good price for the truck. But I'd like to have most of all of the accessories working. At least I'd like to have the heater and of course windshield wipers. I've got a squirter there. I can get a pump for that. This switch works. And get it where it'll wash the windows, blow heat. I don't know, you know, who knows, this heater might be bad. I tried to hook some wires up to it. It's got contact, but it's not turning. It's probably rusted up. We'll see. You can see on this inside of this window here, it's kind of funky. I'll just fill that whole thing there with seam sealer. I started trying to put a little Bondo on it, but that's not gonna fly. I've got a couple rust holes here. I need to clean that up, fix it best I can. Got this section here, same thing. I think I'm just gonna fill this with who knows, I might put fiberglass in it. This stuff is so runny it gets everywhere. But moving along. Well, I started working on this this area here on the window where it's kind of rusted through. I got about 8 or 10 inches here. I got about a foot in the middle, maybe a little over there. But this is rusted through the pinch weld, and you see some of it back in here. I can clean this up, I think. You can see daylight in it right there. But it looks like I can cut about 1/4 of an inch of that windshield rubber away, and that'll open up the metal. And took a little wire brush on a drill here, and I was able to clean that up, and I'm pretty sure I can just put some windshield rubber in there, tape it and smooth it out like I did on that Buick, and this will plug up the rust so there won't be any more water getting into it. This side over here is not so bad. About a foot right in the middle and a little above this windshield wiper. I can use Bondo to plug up this section. I can cut the rubber away and patch that there. I'm looking for what I can do to this to paint it. Looks like I've got some rust up here in the top. I'll just have to do the best I can with plugging this up with Bondo so I can keep water out of it. Nothing's gonna be perfect, but as long as the windshield's not filling up with water, it shouldn't rust anymore. I don't know what these 2 bolts are here. They almost look like they're holding a skin on here. Don't know. This might be this whole skin might be just bolted on, but it won't be bolted on when I'm done. Because I'm pretty sure even if it is bolted on, it's the rubber goes around it and clamps it. So I'm just going to try to seal it up, do the best I can, cleaned up, put some paint on it. I got 2 quarts, which should be enough to do this truck. It's really not, you know, I don't have a top on it, no doors on it, so 2 quarts should be able to cover this little thing pretty good with a couple good coats of paint. Need a lot of masking. I don't feel like pulling all this plastic and stuff off of here, so I'll just mask it the best I can. Anyway, I'll get up in here and cut this rubber out of here. See if I can clean that up. Well, sorry to keep jumping around like this, but I put parts on as they come in the mail. Today the right spark plugs came. These are Champions. They're obviously the same. They're not an inch long. So I'll be able to stick these in here, fire this thing up and see if it's going to still smoke. Well, there's all the plugs in. Nothing cross-threaded. And no problems at all. So I'll give this a couple pumps here. Looks like it. Probably squirted. Should be able to fire it up and hear it run. Well, let's see if this thing will fire up. Should, since I knocked some wires off. Not with a dead battery. Put some power on that. Try it again. And we put it on boost starting. See if that'll do it. pretty good. This side's kind of rich. Smell it. Turn that in and have it. Smells a little better. Well, of course, that carburetor's not set up or anything. I can see it starting to mess now. I'll open that back up. Maybe. On that, my glasses. Can't really see. Turn. That's a little better. Still a little vibration. Quite a bit, actually. Probably waste of time messing with the carburetor. Got 50 pounds of oil pressure, charging good. This fuel gauge is showing me 3/4 of a tank. We still got bagged around in here, I believe. But should start right up again. Anyway, it's running even. The compression was exactly the same on all of them. I think one was off like 10 pounds. But I think we're plenty good here. I got to get that carburetor off there and get a model number, get a kit. I don't really like Hollies. They always leak here out of this thing and you lose all the gas. Anyway, I'll do that and then I'll get back to this rust bucket up here. At least I put the plugs in and fired it up. Well, I took this thing off the car. The intake manifold looks pretty clean. I didn't see any oil or anything in it. It don't look like it's burning oil out of here. I started up. Sure smells like oil though. I don't know. Maybe the intake manifold is letting it suck oil or something. Anyway, I was the carburetor was acting a little weird, and I checked the main jets. They're both 74s, and it's got a 6.5 power valve in it. So that's around half of engine vacuum, I would assume. So these are stock jets for a 600 CFM. And I'll press on with this thing. I'm gonna check how many turns I got here on my idle screws to see how close that is. Well, they were 3/4 of one turn, so I think I was trying to get it kind of lean there. I think this should be around 2 turns or so. Anyway, got a kit coming for it, and I'll see whether that's got a metering block in back or jets, but I think this is carburetor's probably right for that motor. People that put it together looked like they knew what they were doing. So anyway, I'll just throw this back together and wait for my carb kit, clean it up good and rebuild it.